Hello, Win. It's great to have you here. Hope you're having a very pleasant evening.
Thanks, Luke. It's good to be here. Happy last Sunday at St. Paul's.
Thanks, Win. Anyway, let's delve into the topic of social media and whether or not our privacy and information are protected. Do you think we're at risk? We speaking on behalf of most people who use the internet. Are we at risk because of our social media activity? And if so, what can we do to better ourselves? I'll take Facebook for example. Facebook has over 1 billion users worldwide, which is about a seventh of our population. So clearly a lot of people use Facebook and rely on it not only for entertainment but also for means of communication. It seems to have become a way of life almost. What do you think about that?
Yes, Luke, I certainly agree. Facebook has become a huge part of our lives. Massive amounts of data and information about us being shared not only to our Facebook friends but also to numerous advertisers and marketers who aim to use the information to their advantage. At the moment, there is yet to be too much uproar against this open sharing of information to marketers, but at which point does this become unacceptable?
Truthfully, I feel as if there's no clear point that establishes a dichotomy between what's acceptable and what's not. The internet world is fairly complex, and I'd say it's not really black and white anymore. There's a lot of gray area. So it's hard to blame Facebook for divulging information about us when we're constantly pouring information at our own will without a moment's hesitation. We have to understand that Facebook is business and it is trying to make money.
So then how should social networking sites like Facebook balance giving its users privacy with gleaning up enough information from its users to be profitable? Or do you think it's more of the user's responsibility to keep this balance by being more conscious of what we post?
That's a good question, Win. And unfortunately, I don't think Facebook is explicitly obligated to adhere to our pleas or requests, since we initially are the ones who are agreeing to their policies. So ultimately, we're the ones who are responsible for what we put on the web and not Facebook.
But lately, there has been a lot of concern and criticism of certain clauses in Facebook's policies. Facebook used to state that we may share your information with third parties, including responsible companies with which we have a relationship, but that clause has since been removed. Ostensibly, the fact that Facebook has removed this clause seems like Facebook has been taking action on protecting the information of its users. But looking at it from another angle, the removal of this clause only serves to hinder the transparency of the site. So even as the users take more responsibility for what they post online, they're having an increasingly difficult time understanding how Facebook will really be using their posts.
So, Win, are you saying that Facebook should also take some of this responsibility? Sounds a lot like neither Facebook nor its users are trying to find this balance between privacy and profits. And on a separate tangent, it seems like there's simply a lack of awareness in this field.
Right, I agree. But how do you suggest we create better awareness for the users?
uh, well, I would imagine it's a lot like helping people become more aware of something like spin in media or in stories, for example. It's just something you have to put in the users' heads. Um, I guess we just really need to emphasize the message and that whatever we post or whatever information we share on these social networking sites can be used without our knowledge.
But do you think that people even care that much about their information being used by advertisers and marketers? It seems a lot like most of these things aren't even that private to begin with. If your friends can see what pages you like, then why can't the public also know about them? I don't think people just go around liking pages with explicit content when their friends can also see it.
Right, Win. And that may have contributed to people not caring as much as they should about what they're doing on Facebook and what Facebook does with their information. But there are also many other threats that users will face, such as big data companies that collect, aggregate, and use users' information, potentially hacktivists, malware, bots, etc. Some individuals are capable of manipulating the internet to their own will, such as one group I read about called Anonymous, which is a group of hacktivists. And basically what they did was they hacked a hate group called the Westboro Baptist Church. They hacked one of their websites as a form of protest, and a lot of people don't know how that's possible. And it's pretty crazy to think that there are people out there who are capable of such things on the internet.
Yes, you're right. That is pretty scary, considering how much data on everyone Facebook has stored inside their servers. But what does this mean for the future? How can we solve these problems?
Well, there was one article I read about in the New York Times about a group of four people who addressed this very same issue. And I read that they attempted to create a decentralized form of social media. Um, and they said that the main problem with Facebook was that since it's a centralized network, there's a lot of information that we share in the network that ends up not being private, and therefore poses a risk to our privacy.
Yes, and the special thing that this group of four is trying to do is to eliminate that centrality of Facebook. They recognize that the chats, the walls, whatever special thing Facebook has, that is not that hard to do. More specifically, we don't need a hub like Facebook to regulate our posts. This decentralized form of social media that they've been trying to create will allow users to create their own hubs so that users like us can control the information that we share and thereby controlling our privacy.
But don't you think this decentralization could possibly detract from the beauty of Facebook? The greatest part of having a centralized hub like Facebook is that users are able to find and connect to other users that they didn't know previously. How do you think decentralization would affect this?
Well, it's not yet clear about what the capabilities of a decentralized social network is, so what it can or cannot do. But at this point, there are lots of possibilities, but it's still only in the developmental stage. One thing for sure, though, is that it'll better protect user information.
Right. And since we've seen the internet world expand at such a rapid pace, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more progress in terms of these very same ideas.
Yes, Luke, so does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that was perfect, Win. But just to recap, my three main takeaway points from that were: one, people need to be more aware and more careful about what they're doing on these websites. Two, policies should be more clear uh, regarding what exactly people are agreeing to when they sign up for these websites and make accounts. And three, in terms of our privacy and safety, we're headed in the right direction with these decentralized networks.
Yep, that's about right, Luke. Thanks for your time. Have a great senior spring.
Thanks, Win. You too. Stay safe on those websites.